Hello everyone, Andrew here. I just wanted to make a quick note that thank you so much to our wonderful Patreon members and for the people who have donated to us. We are trying to upgrade some of our sound systems here, and so we're still kind of working out the kinks. And because of that, the audio at the beginning here was a little bit weird. My audio ended up dropping and eventually Keith's did, but luckily I was able to save most of the audio. But if you're hearing some weird jumping in the dialogue, it is just because, we lost some of the audio. But 90% of this episode is perfectly fine. I just wanted to make that note. And I also wanted to give a quick shout out and thank to all our Patreon members. If you want to see the full video, we are also live recording our videos now. So if you go to our Facebook, and we will eventually get it onto YouTube and to our X. We usually record on Tuesday around 8:30 EST. So if you ever want to join us for our live recordings and join the chat, please come on by. And thank you all so much for listening. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games for the Game Pass collection, bringing you 3 unique perspectives of varying skill range. I am the one who wish I ignored the Call of Duty, Andrew, with me. The one you wish you would always ignore his call, Keith.
Hello.
And the person we called to join us, Aaron.
That's not like a really good intro. I feel like I probably should have gotten a little more acclaim since I am, the Call of Duty master here, but I'll take the sure. Yeah, you just called me and added me. Thank you.
Because you're a guest. You call in a guest.
I guess that's just a very lame intro. I'm a little disappointed. I know you put in the work for this and you gave me nothing.
All right, and joining us is the Call of Duty man himself, my brother, Aaron.
Thank you.
This week we played, we finally, for the first time now on Game Pass, we finally have a Call of Duty game. So we checked out Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 by, should I do every studio?
No, you just got to do the one that headed this one. Was this one? This was headed by Sledgehammer? Yeah.
Yeah. But, well, technically it's Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Beanox, Raven Software, High Moon Studios, Demonware, Toys for Bob, and I think there was one more, but that's kind of.
Well,
they all added something to the pot.
Yeah, you're kind of like a giant umbrella. This one is led by Sledgehammer Games. Warzone, I think, is mostly handled by Raven at this point. I think the multiplayer might have Beanox helping them on that. And all the other studios might have helped in smaller ways, but yeah, it's a complicated mess.
It is. But yes, Modern Warfare 3. It is the continuing story of the reboot of the Modern Warfare trilogy, where you are playing soldiers fighting a bad guy.
Earthman go shoot.
Or you're fighting online and kids who just hop around a lot in Nicki Minaj skins.
Okay. Let's take this a little bit seriously. I know you guys don't want to take this seriously at all.
I'm going to take this very seriously. I don't think
Call of Duty takes itself seriously.
Have you never listened to a Halo episode, Aaron?
Okay.
I take these episodes very, very seriously, especially these big titles that are important.
Okay. Well, Andrew's mentioning the Nicki Minaj skins, so
that's
you do have to split this conversation up. There are multiple avenues of Call of Duty. So the story follows you play as multiple characters like you always have. In Call of Duty games, you always switch and play a bunch of different characters. I think they started doing that in the Modern Warfare games.
Yeah. But the story, like I said, this is kind of a reboot, but also not. There's still a lot of the same characters. If you played the original Modern Warfare trilogy back on, those were only on 360. I don't think they ever hit Xbox One, the Modern Warfare games. They might have hit their dose. But
no, I think you're right, because I distinctly remember playing Modern Warfare 3 when I lived at Golf Park and the 360 existed at that point. So.
Yeah. I mean, when we were there, we did have the X. No, we didn't. So yeah, I think it was strictly 360. But anyway, it still has a lot of the same characters, so you're kind of seeing familiar faces. And it's weird because the story still also takes elements of the original trilogy. So this is like, the story is like a reboot, but not. But anyway, starting off, you're breaking somebody out of prison, then you come to find out, oh, it's Markov. If you're like me, I have not played Modern Warfare 1 or 2 of the new trilogy. So, but I at least know him from the original because he was in the original. So I'm like, okay, I kind of get this guy. He's evil terrorist dude who just wants to kill people. I got that gist. But yeah, the story is just you basically chasing this head terrorist dude as he's trying to get gas and missiles and gas and shooting people. And you just chase him around the world. Let's go around though for Gamer Pass. I have a lot of questions with this story. Hopefully you can answer, Aaron. For me, I'm giving this a pass. I'm slightly tempted to give it a hard pass. Okay, so for me, I've played quite a bit of the Call of Duty games, but it's been a while. The actual last Call of Duty I've owned was not Modern Warfare. It was World War II. That was the last one I owned. But I loved the Black Ops. I've recently been playing Black Ops 2.
Do you mean World at War?
No, World War II. Do you not remember the one where you're in the hub world and you had to drop crates and it had those guns?
That wasn't called World War II, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I thought that was World at War.
No, World at War was the 360 one.
A 360 one.
Okay.
Man, what is the name of that game? Because I don't think it's World War II, but
I'm pretty sure it is. But either way, that was the last one I owned.
Could look that up, but we're not going to.
Javier says Andrew is right.
Andrew's right, which is wild because I've probably put like 2 months worth of gameplay into that game, and I don't remember the name of it.
But yeah, that was the last one I played, and like I said, I've been playing actually some old school Black Ops 2, and it's like, man, I forgot how good Call of Duty used to feel. Playing this multiplayer now, I feel like I'm too old, and it just irritates me. I usually love the campaigns, but this campaign was awful. I actually think I had more fun with the Call of Duty Ghost campaign than I had with this one. This one is, I think, this game just struggles with the issue of Warzone. I feel like they are focusing so much on Warzone that it just bled into all the other parts of Call of Duty that people like, including the zombies. And it's just, Modern Warfare 3 to be rough, but that's just me. What about you, Aaron?
This is like a Halo show level rant for Andrew.
Yeah. Trust me, I got some more in the pipeline here. Well, how about you, Keith? Let's Aaron go last since he's the Call of Duty man. I want to see where he ranks this.
All right. So I think the last Call of Duty that I played and bought was probably the same one, honestly. It depends on, I guess, what year it is, because like partially the podcast, but really just Game Pass in general. I think I have purchased less than 10 games since Game Pass came out, and Call of Duty was one of the first ones I stopped purchasing. It's just I played them because I played with you guys, but I never really wanted to, and then I had an excuse to not. So I kind of have skipped out on the last 5 to 6 years of Call of Duty, I would say. I think I played a trial weekend of one a couple years back, had a bit of fun. I think I was playing some bots. All that to say, I really went into this going, cool, gonna check off the box, play some of this, and carry on with my life. I think I actually give it a game. Honestly, it may be the heavy skill-based matchmaking. So I played 2 missions. I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign since, gosh, what was the one the very first big one? Was it Modern Warfare or Black Ops? Like the one with the famous sniper mission and all that, 360 era. That was
the first Modern Warfare.
Probably the last one I played and intentionally played, for that matter. So I played 2 of these when, this is a Call of Duty campaign. I'm bored. I'm going to go back to shooting online. And I don't know. I was actually having fun. I played a really good chunk of gun game, and I was running into a lot of the same complaints I think you had, Andrew. But I got to say, I was kind of having fun. And so for that matter, I can't give it a pass overall, but I do. Gosh, I just wish it almost wasn't called Call of Duty, though. If this was, I said it to you when we were playing, is if this was just labeled, I don't know, whatever, any other game, but just as a modern, realistic-ish shooter or futuristic shooter, fine. But it's not a Call of Duty. It's so stinking goofy. I can't stand that aspect of it. So that is a big gripe I have.
All right. I have to give, I have to kind of preface, because really, Call of Duty we're going on, we're probably talking close to 2 decades now. Used to be, and I say used to be until very recently, used to be the only game I would purchase every single year. I basically had an Xbox 360 to play Call of Duty. I loved Call of Duty so much that even when my friends stopped playing it, it was still the game I would purchase, and I would just play solo. I didn't care It was just the game that I loved.
You
And I
mean
would
us?
try and get everybody on it, but nobody wanted to touch it. Now, there are some semi-modern Call of Duty games that actually have pretty decent campaigns. Um, Advanced Warfare is the most recent one with Kevin Spacey, who's now been canceled as the villain in that. It's actually not a bad campaign. It's a pretty fun campaign and actually a pretty fun multiplayer. It was pretty controversial at the time. But all that to say, I just wanted to respond to the plot. We'll get more into that. Yeah. So anyway, all that to say, I have a long history with this series. I love this series. This game right now, I did not purchase this game. I've, for the last few years, have been doing it every other year. So I'll take a year off, buy the one after it, take a year off, buy the one after it. I did buy Modern Warfare 2. I did not purchase Modern Warfare 3. I was very excited to see it on Game Pass. This is barely a game. This is barely a game. And the reason why I still think it's safe to call this a game, its biggest strength and biggest flaw is the same exact thing. And it's the fact that there is something for everyone. If you wanted to come in and you wanted to be just a zombie player and play the zombie matches, you could do that. If you're somebody that enjoys the single player campaigns, which we will talk about more in, you can just go play the single player campaigns. If you want to go play a Tarkov style zone, you can do that in DMZ. If you want to play a battle royale, you can play Warzone. If you want to play a multiplayer with, I kind of lost count, but I think there were like 20 different types of things you could play in that multiplayer. You could do that. There is a plethora of content. Is all of that content good? No, it isn't. But you have options to try these things, and you don't have to be one thing. You could be all of those things. There is at least a decent amount of stuff for there. And Keith had kind of mentioned how this doesn't feel like Call of Duty, and I felt this a lot. And we've been seeing this since Warzone. Warzone did this. It now became a cash shop. And so there's this constant flow of just nonsense in this game. You know what this is? It's Fortnite. If Fortnite made a multiplayer shooter, this would be what it is right now. And
I don't
I
think
don't
that's a
love
hot
that.
take either.
No, it's not a hot take. It really isn't at all. The things that were happening on the screen, but that's the easiest way that you could compare it is it's just if Fortnite was Call of Duty, this is what it would look like. Again, I'm going to give this a barely a game because of the fact that everything is split up the way that it is. I don't think things get fixed the way that they need to because probably more energy is focused on some areas than others. But I think for the majority of people, if they were to download this game, if they knew a niche that they might be interested in, they could find a lot of fun out of it there. So barely a game.
Which, to that point, and Javier had asked earlier, is it worth 300 gig? And I think it's on Game Pass and it's Call of Duty. People are going to download it, but it's so misleading because it's an up to 300. And this is something that I actually really appreciate about all those different aspects you were talking about, Aaron, is that like you can parse out what you want to download. So if you're just like, hey, I want to be campaign, don't care about any of the Warzone, zombies, any of that, just download a campaign that's like 70 gig. It's not going to suck up your whole entire hard drive. But if you do, then yeah, it's that. But I think even the 300 gig includes Modern Warfare 2, if I recall. And so that's another part of like, I actually chose everything but the other game. And I think it was like 150 gig for me. So it's still huge. But like for me at this point, if I wanted to, I feel like I could actually keep the multiplayer on there and I'd have fun firing up a quick couple rounds of like gun game or something like that.
Yeah, keep in mind this is real granular. Mind you, I still watch Call of Duty content every single day. Like I watch updates about it. I watch YouTubers play it all the time. I still watch it all of the time. So I still very much love this game. What that is Call of Duty decided a few years ago, they have this thing called Call of Duty HQ, which was supposed to house all Call of Duty content in one. We'll probably talk a bit about the menus here in a little bit because that is a whole other animal. But you're seeing what it was supposed to be is you could download Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, Warzone, DMZ, and the multiplayers, and they were all in one location, kind of like a Master Chief collection. and you could just click the things that you wanted to play, and you could play it from there. This is a horrible implementation of it, but as you're seeing, you can choose which one of those parts of the HQ you actually want to download. It's a mess. I can't stand it. I don't know why people like this.
But I do like this new segment we're doing, where we, before we even get into the story or gameplay, we just talk about the menus. We should do this for all games.
This is good.
What's the start menu? Oh, I know, but I'm fairly certain when you went, like, it was just in like the main selection of it, and yeah, it was all the way at the far right. But speaking of other things that are hidden in the stupid, annoying intro, I sat and watched that what felt like 2-hour long intro video because I pressed every button on my controller and it wouldn't skip it. But apparently, you had to like hit up, up, down, down, hit the Konami code to get out of it, and I didn't try that. So I sat and watched every single second of that stupid nonsense. I thought it was cool for the first like 20 seconds, and then it started showing all of the garbage that they're throwing into the game. Here's weird wrestler lady who's coming in and doing leg drops on people. This isn't Call of Duty. This is stupid. So that is something that I absolutely hated about this, and lots of points off.
Yeah, the menus are far worse than even the last time that I played Call of Duty. And what you were seeing there at the beginning is something that's existed for the last few as well. Every time a new season would come out, the first time you would log on for that new season, it would play the new season's intro. And once you got past it, you never had to watch it again, but you had to sit down and kind of watch it that first time. But yeah, the menus, what's confusing is you're presented a set of blocks and you go right to left with these blocks. But what I always forgot is you could also go down to another layer of blocks to go through. Yeah, and so that's what I kept finding myself lost in. I'm like scrolling through these blocks and I'm like, wait, where's multiplayer? Where's what I want? And then I realized, oh, there's another layer below this. I got to go down here and then go find it. It's crazy when you look back at just the menus in the 360 era, right? It was like 5 options. Pick these 5 things, and that is it. And those are the things you pick. And now you're looking at it, and it's just I don't know how to get to the things. And I sound so old. So the other one that killed me on this one, because when you play Call of Duty this long, you become a stat junkie. I've always been obsessed with what my KDR is. That was just that was the most important thing in my life for like 8 years was my KDR.
You would not let me play on your account.
No one could play on my account.
No, Andrew was the only one. Andrew was allowed to.
It was a pretty big deal for me, and so here I am. I don't know why. I played Modern Warfare 2. I could not find where all of my stuff was stored. I'm like scrolling through menus and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks. And I forgot that you have to press like in right stick to drop down another menu that's hidden in the upper right hand corner. And then that's where I can go find that. And I just forgot that it was even up there because there's a whole nother menu that's attached to more menus. This is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare.
But anyway, so let's get into the story though of Modern Warfare 3 here. As I said, the story is continuing the new reboot of the Modern Warfare trilogy. I just draw a blank on the bad guy's name.
Markov,
thank you. I don't want to say Malakov. Markov escapes from prison. He's doing bad terrorist things, and you are hunting him down. That is the story. My first question, Aaron. Who are you? What soldiers are you? Are you part of the U.S. government?
You're a mix of governments.
Yeah, you're a mix. So who is paying for everything? Are you mercenaries?
No, you're not mercenaries. So there are some that are connected. They're mostly connected to the U.S. and British agencies. Yeah. There is also, like, you're introduced to Farah.
Yep.
She was a character that was, I don't even know where in the Middle East. I don't even know if they specify it. But her brother ends up turning out to be a terrorist.
It's Uzbekistan, I think is what they said.
Possibly. I think it's just Middle East country.
Yeah, generic.
So it's I mean, like all Call of Duties, they've gone into a more globetrotting setting, but they've expanded the roster to kind of capture a little bit more countries. I don't know if it was just their way of selling more. Actually, you've had a little like Soap was always British, and Soap's been around for a long time. Soap
Yeah.
McTavish.
I think Ghost is British too.
Yeah. So they've had stuff like that, but the story is such a mess right now.
It is.
I don't.
And that's what I
can't
mean.
keep up with
Like,
anything.
so who's paying? Because it's like if you're British and American,
How is that the thing? How is it like who's paying their paychecks?
well, because that was my first question. The
Exactly.
very first mission, you don't know you're the
Steve.
bad guys, but you're in a submarine and you're getting out. You're using all this military equipment. It's like, how does a terrorist group afford a submarine, multiple gunboats, all of this equipment? It's like, what the heck?
Well, I think Markov is specifically tied to the Russian government.
Well, he's a Russian extremist, but he's not part of the government. They said that multiple times in the story
Correct.
that the government's not part of this.
But I thought the idea was that they were part of the Russian, like they were an offshoot of the Russian government that's gone rogue. I think that was kind of the original idea. I might be completely off base. These are kind of interesting questions, Andrew, that you could literally ask in almost any video game. Like, how do they get these materials? How do they make money? Who do they pay taxes to?
Well, it's easy if you're like, oh, you're part of the U.S. government. The government pays for it. Okay, cool. That makes sense. And
Yeah,
this is
I
just
mean-
like, are you mercenaries?
No, they're definitely not mercenaries. They're definitely attached to the government.
But if they are, why does no one else care?
What do you mean?
You're 4 soldiers. If this guy really is about to start a global war,
Andrew,
you think they'd throw more resources than just
this
4
is
dudes?
Call of Duty for literally as long as Call of Duty has existed. You are one soldier taking on an entire army. It has literally always been that way.
No. In the old World War II, Xbox 360, you always had generic soldiers there that were cannon fodder. They always got blasted, but they kept
Yes.
respawning, and you always had soldiers fighting with you. But yes, overall.
You'd kill tens of thousands of enemies. Like, normal soldiers would apparently do.
Okay, I'm not knocking points off of the game. This is literally just things that are it's confusing me. I understand Call of Duty's meant to be like typical summer blockbuster action movie, generic action movie. Like,
Yes.
I get that. I'm not knocking points off on it, but it's just story wise, I'm just like, what the heck is going on?
No, but you do bring up like, and this is again why I would say it was like a barely game for me. And this is one of them. Is if you did want to play just the campaign, you legit can't. Not only do I think this is the worst Call of Duty campaign I've ever played.
Did you play Ghost?
Yeah, I played Ghost. I didn't mind Ghost.
Yeah.
I didn't think Ghost was that bad. Those were all linear. This one decided not to be linear, and that was a massive problem. But
there's the Warzone bleeding in it.
Yeah, it feels very much like they just put Warzone into a Call of Duty campaign outside of the first mission. The first mission felt very Call of Duty. Beautiful graphics, by the way. Like, it really blew my mind actually how good those graphics are getting. That opening sequence just looked incredible from start to finish. But if you were just coming in blind, you have Game Pass. Oh, hey, here's that big Call of Duty that just showed up. I haven't really played any of them. Let me fire it up. I'll just play the mission, the campaigns. I don't know if you'll have that much of a fun time.
No.
If that's what you're going to be into.
That's what I was hoping for.
It's the weakest, I think, of all of the elements of Modern Warfare 3. I kind of did too. There was a part of me that was like, I'll just fire up the campaign and, I'll run through that. And man, I was out pretty quick. I didn't even care. I knew I wasn't going to be able to follow the story. I knew that. It's the 3rd of this series. I'm not going to be able to follow the story, but you know what? At least I'll have some fun set pieces to talk about. And nope, you won't.
Yeah. So the big negative, as we're kind of talking about, are these open combat missions. And all the open combat missions are I think there's a couple that are actually maybe original, but they are essentially a small segment of the Warzone map. And it's just, hey, you're pair dropping, and usually, sometimes you're not. Sometimes it gives you an actual starting point. But you have an objective. Blow up these 3 things or collect these 3 things. You find loot boxes to find special guns. You can have a loadout. It's literally PvE Warzone. And it's just, if I wanted to play Warzone, I'd play Warzone. I came here for Call of Duty. And instead it's just like, it's like Warzone, just you're shooting bots. And I'm like, this is dumb. I don't like this.
Boy, I'm so disappointed that I didn't go further into the story now.
Now, how far did you get, Keith?
Like I said, the second mission,
Oh, so you at least did one of the open combat missions, because the very first mission is a fun Call of Duty map, like Aaron said, and then it goes open combat, and it's like, oh, yeah, you play as.
I must have skipped right before.
You're on a plane with the whole squad, and they're like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then the mission starts, and none of the squad mates are there. They're all gone. They're like, yeah, we'll watch you. Go and play yourself.
That
It's
sequence,
okay.
that sequence was super weird.
Yeah,
They're like flying, ready to do a mission, and then they get a call. Markov's escaped. Turn the plane around, and that's it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Are you part of the U.S. military? Because if you're part of the U.S. military, you can't do that. You can't be like, we're stopping our mission and hunting a terrorist. Why is no one else hunting this terrorist? It's
I assume there's
guys.
some sort of, well, not even just to steal from the fact that they have Black Ops games, but you're just like a Black Ops team, and you kind of operate on your own decision.
Abort this important mission we're doing right now.
There's a more important one.
Yeah, I will give it to you, Andrew. Like, I think if you go back to the original Modern Warfare series, like, I remember distinct missions where you're running through Washington, D.C. and the White House.
Yeah.
And you were clearly a U.S. soldier. It was clearly who you were working for. It's a little bit more fluid now, where you're kind of just a part of the U.S. government, but you're connected to these other agencies across the world, but you're the elite group. So you kind of get to do whatever the heck you want as long as it's
you
for the mission.
collaborate, but you're part of two different governments. In this, it's just, you're a group.
Yeah. I that sequence at the beginning, though, was just funny to me because it was like they're about to go do a mission. And then he cancels the mission, turns around, and then that's just end of sequence. And I was like, what was the point of even showing me that?
It's not like they knew where the guy was either. He's like, turn around right now. It's like, you don't know where the terrorist is. You might as well just
what if you're actually already heading in the direction of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very weird sequence to kind of start there. It felt like they just knew that they had to put the team in there, that the classic team has got to show up here right at the beginning.
And show the urgency.
But it just didn't make sense. And I think what you're starting out as the Farah character pretty quickly. I think she's the second or third mission?
She's the third. Yeah, the third. Yeah, because the second mission is where you're playing as Price, who's airdropping in to blow up these helicopters. What?
Did I play the wrong game? That was not the second mission for me. Unless maybe I didn't play a full mission.
The first mission is where you're breaking into a prison. You did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the second mission is you airdropping and you have to blow up helicopters.
So maybe I never finished that mission. Maybe I only go into the second sequence of.
So the first one starts at the boat. The first one starts at the docks.
I was at the docks. Okay.
The second mission's the docks. You're right, Keith. Okay. Yeah, the second mission you're playing as Farah. Thank you, Keith. Yeah.
That's why. Okay, now I feel better. I was really concerned that
I was switching them around. Yeah. I mean, they blend in.
The helicopter one's the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which the objective is so dumb too. They're like, we need to blow up these helicopters because they're trying to steal something. Well, there's literally helicopters above me shooting at me, and it's like, well, why don't I have to blow those helicopters up? Like, what's important?
Maybe they don't have anything in their transport.
It's just makes no sense.
Call of Duty as a whole, like especially when it comes to single player campaigns, it's been on the chopping block for years now. In fact, Black Ops 4 didn't even bother putting one in there at all. They just went straight with multiplayer and didn't even bother doing that. People freaked out enough about it that this is why they've now changed this and they've brought the single player back. But man, this is the poorest implementation of it. And because at least it was, when it was linear and it was set pieces, it felt like an action movie, and it was stupid, but it still felt fun.
Yeah.
This does not. This is incredibly anticlimactic.
I mean, Call of Duty had some of the most iconic single player missions. The sniper mission, all gillied up. Everyone knows that one. The one in Modern Warfare 1, I believe, where you're playing as the AC-10 and escorting people and shooting. Super awesome mission. Like, that's what I expect when I play Call of Duty. I don't care about
controversially, like the
Russian
airport missions.
The no Russian.
Yep, no Russian.
Yeah. And I think that's partially why they've started to go away from the more direct government ties. Is I think that they've started, not Russia specifically, just all countries. They're just like, we don't want to step on anyone's toes calling certain governments bad because we want to sell units.
Keith, you clearly didn't get far enough in the campaign.
It's super funny. Yeah, I was going to say, it's funny you're saying that, not just in this, But the Black Ops series straight up had presidents in them.
Yeah.
Do you remember you're shooting Fidel Castro and killing Fidel Castro? And was that Black Ops 2?
Yeah,
And
but that's historical bad guys. Like they're not gonna have. Is Vladimir Putin in there? Are you shooting Vladimir Putin?
In the next one, at least in the trailers, they have pictures of H.W. Bush. They have Clinton in there because it takes place in the 90s.
I heard rumor there's a 9/11 mission.
It sounds like they've pretty much kind of. Yes, the JFK zombie mission. That was a great, just straight up JFK.
But so he's dead. He's an old.
The Black Ops series has gone very much into the government stuff, which the Black Ops series, I will say, 1 and 2 are maybe some of the best Call of Duty games ever made, and I think those are some of the best campaigns ever made. I think Black Ops 1 and 2, if those ever end up making to Game Pass,
those are my favorite.
Likely will. I would 100% say if you just want to do campaign stuff, go with those because those ones are incredible.
They're backwards compatible.
Yeah, that's true. You could just pick it up anyway, and I think they were all on sale. But yeah, the whole number sequence that they had in the Black Ops games were just so good, so good.
So yeah, this campaign it's so weak. Like, because even when you're doing these open combat missions, it's just a shooting gallery, and it's not a fun shooting gallery. Like you can bring your own loadout, but you're also finding unique guns you can get in it. But what I hate about it is they're trying to encourage you to be stealth, because if you're not, enemies just keep coming. Oh, more reinforcements are coming. Here comes another car full of troops. Here comes another car, and then it has the health system changes every time. You have to, once again, Warzone, you have to put in armor plates. And yes, you do regenerate some health, but you're way weaker than when you actually play the actual missions. And it's just, I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but it was such a bad idea.
Yeah, overall, it's a poor implementation for a single player campaign. For me, it feels like it was a way just to cut corners. It was an easy way to cut corners because you already have the Warzone systems in place. So why not just overlay a pretty thin storyline on top of it? That's what it feels like. I don't know.
100%.
Maybe they
giving them a reason to incorporate Warzone, and then they could add characters to it or something.
I mean, maybe, or maybe their thinking was just more people play Warzone than any other part of Call of Duty. So this would just bring a familiarity for people that already kind of know Call of Duty more as Warzone than they do as anything else. Maybe that was their thinking. I'm not really entirely sure, but for me,
EA. Let's not give them too much grace.
I know
it's not EA.
Well, this is not EA. This is Activision, but equally poorly managed until Microsoft purchased them. Phil Spencer's handling it.
It's on the job.
But yeah, I don't want to get I don't want to give them credit for it. I want to think that they just were trying to cut corners here and not spend a whole lot of money on the campaign, because you've got to spread that thin. You've got to find money and resources to go to 6 different types of games.
That's right. You just if you want to keep the story in there and you want to do it, who cares about length? Do it like Titanfall style. Give me like 6 missions. I can break through them in like 3 hours, cool, and then go on to it. It's like a nice little intro into the game. Even if you want to throw in like maybe one of those little Warzone levels to like give you an intro to Warzone. But I do think that as much as I don't want to give them credit, I think you're right a little bit of like more people know Call of Duty by Warzone because it's free to play. It like there's people who probably still play Warzone who've never played an actual Call of Duty game. And if they're going to pick this up now for the first time, it puts them in a better understanding of what they're doing.
Yeah. And I think obviously that's true. Warzone just kind of raised the bar on the thing completely. And it was one of the reasons why I started to get out of this game altogether, is because clearly I was paying $70 for Call of Duty, but they were not updating or caring for the multiplayer as much as they were for Warzone, the free thing. And so I was just kind of like, I'm done kind of going on this treadmill. I don't want to do it anymore.
Just funding Warzone.
I will say, like, I'm not upset that I didn't buy this game, but I am just as excited though for Black Ops 6.
I'm actually very excited for Black Ops 6.
I've always liked the Black Ops series. I love that it's coming to Game Pass day one. That's obviously a huge factor. That does look like it's campaign that very heavily focused. And the Black Ops campaigns have always been good, so they're always worth going back to and checking out. So I'm hopeful for that. I think we're still gonna have a mess of a now Call of Duty HQ just got that much bigger with more boxes to go scroll through.
Yep.
And it's not gonna get rid of the skins. Those things are gonna be there. And that thing's gonna suck, like having those elements. But the fact that it's on Game Pass day one and I can play it from day one and hopefully kind of ease my way into it, I am a little bit excited for that.
Let's talk about those skins.
Well,
I'm gonna steal your transition. Let's go talk about some multiplayer. Enough about this thing story.
Well, before we get into skins, Keith, I actually do want to do a quick shout out to our latest sponsor for this episode, Nani's Kitchen. This is actually going to be one of our coolest sponsors because this sponsorship is actually a listener.
I'm waiting for this.
Yeah, I know. So thank you so much to Nani's Kitchen for sponsoring this episode. They are just a small mom and pop who just recently retired, and they are creating freeze-dried candies, and they sent me and Keith a whole bunch of bags, which have been amazing. I got Snickers, M&Ms, a whole bunch of fruit, and Jolly Ranchers, and Kit Kat. And I gotta say, they were awesome. I love freeze-dried candy.
Now that we're talking about this, like I like that you talk about this. I love freeze-dried Skittles. Like freeze-dried Skittles are my absolute favorite. I have not done a freeze-dried chocolate. Are those actually as good?
They are. Chocolate doesn't do much.
Greatest
the
toppings.
Chocolate still kind of stays as it is, but like I got not Milky Ways, Three Musketeers, and it was like you know how malt balls are a little bit too hard sometimes. It was like that, but puffy. And actually, I got malt balls as well, which normally not a fan of. They were like sweet little cheese balls. Like they were like just pop them in your mouth like a cheese ball. Fantastic. On top of that, I got some Jolly Ranchers. They were Jolly Ranchers wrapped in fruit roll-ups. Whoa, diggity dang!
So when you freeze dry a Jolly Rancher,
like
is it like really crunchable?
Yeah,
it is. You can.
They're dangerous because you can pop them so easy.
Like, so the Skittles are great because you can eat a handful of them, and it's like eating a handful of Skittles. The Jolly Ranchers are dangerous because you can eat like 5 or 6 of them. And then you're like, holy crap, I just consumed 5 Jolly Ranchers in 30 seconds. But they are so good. The only thing I will warn anyone about this is not anything that they did wrong. I just took too long to eat them, and they don't do well in humidity. So you do have to eat it quickly, but that's not really a problem.
Mine were fine.
I still have some of mine. Honestly, I was like kind of trying to save it a little bit, and I didn't want to sit and eat it all in one night. So I was trying to be good, and then we got hit with like 90 plus degrees for 2 weeks straight and just damp air.
See, I was trying to save mine too, but then I had board game night, and everyone was like, "Ooh, what are these?" And like they were quickly consumed. They were quite popular.
That you said the ice cream topping. I didn't need it as an ice cream topping, but you can just crush them all up. So if they all get into a little ball, you just crush it all up, and then you can throw it on ice cream, throw it on anything.
Yeah.
So easily my favorite thing that we've got. But yeah, those Jolly Ranchers wrapped in a fruit roll up. 10 out of 10 recommend. Again, dangerous because you can eat like so many of them, but so good.
But yeah, as I said, this sponsorship is a listener. It's his parents that have retired, and they just started this as a side business. So that's Nani's Kitchen. Right now they only have a Facebook page, so it's naniskitchen.com/nanisbread. I'll put the link in our show notes for this episode. Go check them out. They are $10 a bag. If you buy 5, you get 1 free. And unfortunately, they're only currently shipping in the US. But in a little bit, they will actually have a full website and work out the shipping a little bit easier. But thank you so much, Nani's Kitchen, for sponsoring this episode. We love the product.
Andrew, before you end this, I'm trying to Google it real quick. How do you spell Nani's?
NONNIE''S.
Awesome.
I got to try the fruit though. Because Andrew mentioned that the fruit was kind of sour.
Oh, you didn't get the fruit? Yeah, the kiwi. I was so surprised. It was like as sour as a warhead.
Which I found this fascinating because Andrew mentioned that, and he was explaining that because it's freeze dried, the moisture comes out of it, which is what keeps the balance in fruits. So you just get a lot of the sour still. And I was like, oh, now I have to try this because I love sour candy, and then I would feel less guilty if I'm just eating fruit.
But yeah. So anyway, Keith, talk about the skins. Talk about the awesome skins in this game.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like, and it's to the point, like in Fortnite, it kind of blends in because the whole landscape is a little bit cartoony. It's always felt a little bit goofy, even when it was in its complete onset. It didn't have all these numbers of skins. It just feels like you said, someone might as well be running by in a big old target. Like, I actually kind of appreciated it because like that 17-foot tall wrestler lady was just an easy target. In most cases, I felt like it was also people who probably just bought it to buy the skin, and I don't know, they were actually terrible. I was doing well killing them. But it was just, yeah, all of these things that I see. And then I don't know, maybe it was a joke or something, but I was on X. Now that we'll make the transition to say it properly. Something about bees and levels and crap. I'm like, what is going on here? This is ridiculous. Aaron, you said someone melted you into a puddle.
Yeah. So this has been going on for a while, where they have different tracers, so your bullet has a different effect to it.
They're lasers
And some
now.
of those were death ones. Have you seen the Cheech and Chong one yet?
No, but
Oh yeah, don't you turn into a blunt?
Turn into a giant blunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You literally turn into a giant blunt. It's wild. Yeah. So there's a bunch of different.
Yeah, there's a opportunity.
There's a bunch of death and tracer animations. Yeah, I really started to lose it when. So earlier versions of Modern Warfare, what was kind of cool is they would use basically really popular personalities on YouTube that were either ex-military or were like professional gun shows on YouTube. And some of them were actually kind of really cool guys. And one of them was a girl. I still see her pop up every once in a while. She like travels around to gun shows and stuff like that. And that was like the start of it, is they would bring in these guys as operators, and they were real life people that they would bring in there. And then something happened. Then it was, again, money happened. What am I saying? Money happened.
Yeah.
And then I want to say, I could be completely wrong, and maybe this is just the one that sticks out in my head. I know like Snoop Dogg ends up showing up.
Oh yeah. Inarius.
And then Nicki Minaj ends up showing up, and then at that point the floodgates are just wide open, and it's just you just start getting I mean, now I saw Gundam running around, which was actually kind of cool looking. But there was a Gundam running around.
There was kind of Bruce Willis, but Die Hard. They've had.
Oh yeah, that was
like, they look cool, like Inarius or Lilith. It looks cool, but it's ridiculous, and it doesn't feel like Call of Duty.
It looks like generic dude in a wife beater. That's all his skin is. People paid money for that.
They had Bruce Willis. That was okay. So that was, they were doing that. They had Bruce Willis, and then they also brought Sylvester Stallone in there as well. Yeah, there was like a random summer where they did that, and then they did Leatherface. For Halloween,
and Jigsaw, I think.
And Jigsaw's in it as well. So yeah, it's cartoonish. Over the top nonsense.
So silly.
And that's what just irritates me. Like the times I was playing, it's just vomiting of animations and colors on my screen. I played a mission of Wetworks with Keith. Keith, man, I'm sure you're going to love talking about this, Keith. But what was just irritating me, I was having such a hard time figuring what's going on. So it's Wetworks, but it's cell shaded. It's super cartoony looking. And it's just vomit of lasers and explosions and puddles. And I'm like, what is this? Where am I going? Like, it's just, this game should have a seizure warning. I was surprised to see this game has no seizure warning.
I mean, I think all Call of Duties probably need those, but so those are normally like one-time events, but they kind of keep those maps in rotation. So the whole giant bee thing, like there were certain maps that are like infected, and they're all because they were events. They're not really like official Call of Duty maps. They're events that change and alter the maps. So the cell shading thing is just another example of that, where they did an event, which supposedly some people like that one a bit. Yeah, there's been just a ton of different events throughout the years, and they just go ahead and tack those into the normal playlist. You know, I could go on. What was really inducing a lot of rage in me in playing Call of Duty. Like, for as long as I've played this series, I vehemently hate the small maps.
Yeah.
I hate Nuketown. I hate Nuketown with an undying passion. I hate Rust. And those are like the two most iconic
And what
maps.
works?
And yeah, shipping
It's called
the
shipping now or
container
something like
one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed the name. They changed the name on it over the years. I hate those. I hate those because to me there was never any thought process. It was just good luck because it's just going to be a mess of grenades. We're going to spam a bunch of grenades, and you're going to get shot at every single.
Here comes
corner.
the helicopter. You can't hide from it.
Call of Duty now has embraced that. That's what their audience wants, and they just keep building more maps that are either small or barely medium. Barely.
Yeah.
There used to be like they've always kind of followed the 3-lane philosophy in Call of Duty. That's always been kind of their bread and butter. And anytime they've gone away from it, their community has gone against it. But there used to at least be some areas in the middle where things could start to happen.
Even
I was getting
Nuketown
spawn trapped a lot on certain maps. Like even the new map that launched when this hit Game Pass was Bait, the one that takes place on the dock. That was, I would say, barely a medium-sized map, but I was getting spawn trapped a few times on that map. And I'm like, this is the problem with these small maps is there's only a few locations I can spawn at. And if they get it right, I'm kind of screwed. Like I don't really have a whole lot of options here.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that. I wish they embraced an actual medium-sized map to a little bit larger. You've mentioned Ghost a bunch today, Andrew. Ghost was criticized for being large maps.
Yeah.
They went all large and barely any small. And I think they've just been afraid to go back down that path. And so now we just keep getting new versions of Nuketown.
Yeah, but I think even though, like you were saying, like Nuketown had that center point. There was like it was small, but it was super narrow. And I feel like Rust and the shipping container one, they're a square. So and that's where you get that. But Nuketown at least had that separation where you're like you're always on the side. And yeah, you could kind of cheese it a little bit, but it was really hard because everyone's dying so rapidly. You might sneak in to get one kill, but at the cost of your own. Like you're not really doing it. In this, you could come around a corner and see two guys just standing there, or two characters that had just spawned, and pick them off before anything. Well, probably not me, but somebody could do that.
Yeah.
See,
yeah, somebody with skills could do it. The problem with Nuketown and the reason, so here's how I kind of determine a small map. How easy is it for me to flip the spawn points? So how much pressure do I actually have to put on your spawn point to actually get you to start spawning in ours and ours and yours? And Nuketown is a constant flipping of spawn points. Normally, if you've got some aggressive teams, you're constantly flipping sides there throughout the game. Where in a medium size to a larger size, it could be a little bit more difficult to do that because usually most of the fighting's happening there and not in spawn points. And that was why I always didn't like Nuketown. It's because I just didn't like the fact that Nuketown, yeah, it had the middle section, but it was very easy to just push into that other side. And you could either spawn trap them if you were really good, or you got them to flip spawns. And I hated that.
See,
hated that.
I'm with you too.
Call of Duty's full of it now.
Because what I hate about the small maps, it 100% encourages the things that I hate the most with Call of Duty. I hate gimmicky movement stuff. I hate bunny hopping. I hate drop shotting. I hate that stuff with an undying passion. And when you're doing a small map, that's all it is. Everyone's just jumping around like a bunch of idiots, hucking grenades and using shotguns. And I'm like, this is awful. Like at least it's like kind of a bigger medium map in the 3 lanes. You can kind of like hold down these choke points and encourage more regular gunfights. But I can't stand the stupid gimmicky moves.
Yeah, that stuff is not going away.
I know it's not. It's probably going to get worse.
That is what Call of Duty is now, and really, again, Warzone takes it to a whole nother level because now what you've got is a free-to-play group of people that have mastered a movement system that I'm just never going to be able to do, and I never was that. I was always a pure just shooter. That's what I'd want to do, and I don't really want to do the gimmicky movement stuff. But that gimmicky movement stuff is not going away, and even now, I love X Defiant. I enjoy X Defiant, but it has the same types of issues.
But they've at least fixed it where it's not so egregious.
No, it still is.
Really?
You do not get the effect until 4 jumps. If you can't kill someone in 4 jumps, you deserve to be dead. So it does a massive gun sway after 4 repeated jumps. Those fights are over after 2. So its way of fixing it wasn't the only thing that I kind of like cool with is X Defiant doesn't do prone. So they do a crouch and they obviously do a jump, but you can't do the prone because it was drop shotting always pissed me off the most.
Yeah.
Like the jumping was fine. I could typically still kind of keep a shot on you, but the drop shotting for whatever reason was always, it was such a drastic full body to now a worm. And it was just difficult to do. And Call of Duty still has that stuff. And that's just not going to go away. If you can't stand that stuff, you're never going to like the game.
I mean, I actually was, I normally am a person who doesn't like the small maps, or I guess I would say I didn't like Nuketown. But that's actually what I was playing the most. And I think maybe I was just playing a little bit less of, I don't really care what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try and have some fun a little bit, I guess. Because I used to try to, at least keep myself at like a 1 KDR. Like I want to try and keep up to that. I want to at least be close to. I just went in the sense like I'm just gonna run and shoot. But man, I was getting a kick out of playing with Andrew because for all the years of my life, all the years of me sitting there, this asshole's jumping, this one's doing, my bullets aren't hurting anybody. Andrew was every single one of those lines, and I was like, I mean, I'm not doing great, but I'm having fun. I'm doing all right now.
I literally was like 1 in 12.
Other side of that for the first time in my life, and especially with Andrew, it made it all worth it. I would relive that gaming moment over again if I could.
Well, this is what was blowing my mind, and I don't understand. Oh, sorry, Keith, go.
I was just saying, I really do still think though, and I think I could be wrong, and maybe this is a fact that everybody knows, and I'm just now learning, is that the skill-based matchmaking isn't just built on this title, that it extends beyond it. So it looks back at all of the years ago that I played and then basically sees that I haven't. And it's like, we're going to put you in with all of the potatoes. They might be 750 level, but boy, was I playing against some people. I won back-to-back gun game matches. That's never happened in my life. It's one of my favorite modes, but I just, usually I'm top 3 if I'm doing good. No, I won 2 back-to-back matches and I was feeling myself a little bit. No, I was feeling good about myself a little bit. Let's rephrase that.
He's just sitting there. Ooh,
was not that excited about my wins.
In fairness, that is a common phrase. So it's not like you said
but
crazy.
I was not that excited about my wins.
Keith's the new two-time champ.
Yeah. So
no, I don't want
skill-based
matchmaking.
Thank you. Yeah, this episode, I feel bad for anyone that has literally never played a Call of Duty because you're going to hear, obviously you've already heard us talk about maps that you're like, I don't know what that is, but skill-based matching is a whole nother level to all of this. But yes, skill-based matchmaking does take into account your previous Call of Duty
games. That explains my experience.
I do believe there's some gaps in that as well. So it does kind of take into account if you have not played in a few years, but yes, my experience is going to be a whole lot probably worse than your experience. This has been a constant battle in the Call of Duty community for, I don't know, 6, maybe 7 years. I think Black Ops 2 was typically where people think was where skill-based making kind of, when it started, was after Black Ops 2. So everything after that starts to have that experience. But the whole Christmas noobs, when a bunch of kids would get the game for Christmas.
Yeah, that was always your favorite holiday.
All that stuff is gone. You can't do that stuff anymore. So yeah, your experience probably has a whole lot less bunny hoppers, probably has a whole lot less drop shotters.
They were still there. It's just they're not good at it. They're just doing it. Yeah, I'd have a guy dive at my feet and then shoot past me. I'm like, oh, cool. I actually got you. Boom.
Yeah, for me, like I'm level 1, just started this up, can't build loadouts. I'm going to people that are over level 800, and I'm like, what is this matchmaking?
See, but so was I. But I still think, and that's where I think that I kind of throw the level out with it all, because I mean, you look at my Overwatch numbers, right? I mean, back when they actually had levels, I think I had almost every single one of your levels combined in total level because I just played that much of it.
Yeah, you played a lot.
But what did that mean? It meant nothing. I was still always underranked, and I played because I wasn't as good. And so it's like I don't take much factor into those numbers. At first I kind of did, but then once I realized how heavily that matchmaking was coming in, I was just like, oh, okay, like, I can do this.
Yeah, the leveling system, again, we're getting real granular here, has changed over the years. In the past, what you used to do is you used to have ranks and you'd master prestige to another rank. So you'd start back at one, start over again. Now, what they did is each season, they would just increase the levels by an extra 100. So, and this dates back to older games. When I fired this game up, I was already a level 150. So here I've never played Modern Warfare 3 and I'm already at 150. So just to kind of show you, the levels just, they mean nothing.
Okay.
It just means you've played the game a lot, but you could still suck at it and be a really high level. You've just played a lot of it.
But I mean, well, the big thing is I couldn't build a custom loadout. These people can, and they all have guns with all the parts on and everything. So I guess, so how much more you want to talk about the multiplayer? Because I don't know.
I mean, I didn't touch zombies.
That's the thing. Yeah. And then I was going to, so talk about zombies. This is probably the worst zombies out of all the entire Call of Duty series, because it's zombies, it's Warzone. And it's just, who thought this was a good idea? Everyone always loves zombies round-based, and they were like, we're doing Warzone.
Again, giving you some history here. Not a great zombies, it's just a Warzone zombies, but it's actually better than what it was in the past.
Yeah.
They started doing storylines in zombies, and they were not round-based. They were mission-based. They did say they are going back to round-based zombies moving forward, so I think Black Ops 6 will go back to round-based zombies, but yeah, that's been a controversial thing. And in one sense, like, I give them credit, like, they're trying new stuff. They're trying to do something different than just giving you a bunch of rounds to go through. But again, this one felt the lazier of it. It's not very fun for me.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad mode. I had a decent amount of fun with it. You know, you're shooting.
Are they fairly quick then? Like 15 to 20 minutes, like it's shrinking down like a Warzone, or?
No. Oh. They're still pretty hefty.
It's more like DMZ, I think. The DMZ mode, where it's kind of like a persistent map.
Yeah.
And you have like a danger zone.
Yeah, the closer you get to the center, the harder the enemies are, the more rewards you are. So you're kind of going in the outer zone, trying to gear up and work your way into the center to get the better gear. They're pretty hefty. But as far as the actual Modern Warfare package, that's all the game modes now. Then I guess
we didn't really talk about Warzone, but do we need to?
Well, Warzone is a separate game. It's not part of Modern Warfare 3. It's
anyone could go download that.
Yes.
It's not a Game Pass.
Oh, I thought they still kind of updated it in sync with it, but
they do. But you don't need Modern Warfare for it.
Fair.
So yeah. So I want to get back more. I wanted to go back to the graphics, because you guys were saying the graphics are great, except for the civilian NPCs. The civilian NPCs look like potatoes. They're so bad looking. When I got to the mission where it's like 4 years in the past, when Price first captures Markov, he's attacking the stadium, the Warzone stadium, and like you're seeing a bunch of civilians running around. I'm like, all these people straight up look like mannequins. And then of course, they're getting gunned down, and I'm like, these people look awful. I don't care about these people. This is so cheesy looking. And even too, there's Keith, you didn't get to the episode, but you were saying of like, they're trying not to offend government. There's a terrorist bombing video mission. Like, you're not really playing much. But once again, all those people look so generic and crappy looking that the mission had no weight to it. Like when you played No Russia the first time around, like it's dark because you were doing this evil deed. But in this, it just felt so forced. And just, oh my gosh. And the dialogue in it too. One guy, so they're forcing you, they're strapping a bomb on you and giving you a gun. And you're playing a Middle Eastern woman too. And the guy's like, are you a terrorist? And you're like, no, I'm not. Well, you look like one. And he throws her like into the plane while she has a bomb on her. And I was just like, that is the stupidest line. Like, gosh, this is such poor writing. But yeah, that's the only complaint about, I will say, with the graphics. Well, and the skins. Like I said, I hated the massive amount of animations that are being thrown in my face. But besides that, the first level with the water effects does look very good.
mean, I
Yeah,
guess from like a quality perspective, even the skins looked good. I guess they
Yeah.
were annoying, and I didn't like them, but they were graphically well designed. And I thought we've been bringing it up a lot, especially forever, but especially recently. But the water right in that first mission, not the best I've ever seen, but it was really nice.
I was tempted to bring it up,
good.
but Liz isn't here to be upset that we talk about the water.
The water
Quit
gets,
talking about the water.
I give it an 8.4 out of 10 on the water.
It's pretty decent water.
On the H2O scale?
Yeah. On my H2O scale, 8.4.
You have 8.4 H2s?
But yeah, the audio isn't bad. Really good sound effects for the guns. Like I said, some of the cheesy dialogue. The voice acting's fine. It's just some of the dialogue is just cringe and just like, God, what is this? It also just makes no sense. Some of the dialogue choices. It's just, you can't obviously fault the audio, but just the writing in general in this game is really rough.
Yeah, I feel like at least from every Call of Duty that I've played historically, like you kind of come to expect that the guns sound right, they sound good. It for the most part, like, all of the war level type of sound effects, it's all good and they do a great job with it. So kind of what I would expect. I wasn't let down. I wasn't fully impressed either.
Oh, well, back to graphics. One thing, another thing of graphics. One of your squad mates, Ghost, the guy with the skull for his face, I could never take him serious because of the stupid meme of him in the car. Yeah. Every time I just see his face now, it's just so goofy to me. I know he's supposed to be like, oh, he's the badass of the group. He has a skull for a face. But just every time I see him, I'm like, this guy's so goofy looking because of the memes of them.
Yeah, that meme really messed him up. Really messed up his image.
He was the most iconic character. I remember people were so obsessed when he was killed in the original Modern Warfare games. And so they kind of brought him back for like a redemption cycle this time around. But now it's just like, I can't take this guy serious. He's too goofy. But now for the other terrible thing with this game. And that's the achievements. Every Call of Duty game, I usually do a lot for the achievements. Usually it's like, if you play on hard, every 3 levels, you usually give an achievement. Every level usually has a unique thing with that level to do for an achievement, which they still kind of have. But majority of them are just super lazy because a lot of these missions are open contract or open combat. Do explore the map and go any way you want. So they have like really kind of cheesy things of like parachuting a certain distance. And it's just like, these are lame achievements. But yeah, the amount of time I spent in this game, I think I have like 15 gamer score. And you can also tell this was just meant to be an add-on because the achievements consist of Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. So they specifically say MW2 or MW3 for the achievements. But yeah, the achievements range from the DMZ, which technically is a part of this package. DMZ is a free-to-play, isn't it?
Yes, DMZ and Warzone are both free to play.
Yeah, so there's achievements for that. And there's achievements, and then of course there's achievements for zombies and for multiplayer, which Call of Duty just tend to do. But this is absolutely not an achievement hunter game.
Yeah, I think I had 0.
Because of the HQ, the Call of Duty HQ stuff. And yeah, a lot of them are very focused, honestly, not on multiplayer. So if you were going to just play multiplayer, you're not going to get a whole lot of achievements. They were either single player, Warzone, or DMZ were kind of the way to go.
But with that, I guess we can get into our final thoughts here. All right, so I'll go first with this one. As I said, this was a pass for me. I used to love Call of Duty, but I was someone who always enjoyed the campaign. This campaign is absolutely not worth your time. It's not fun. I didn't really find it enjoyable. There wasn't these great set pieces. The story wasn't that interesting. There's just very little I could talk good about with the campaign. When it actually did original Call of Duty maps, it wasn't half bad. It was still a typical shooting gallery, stopping terrorists. I was like, okay, I can get with this. But unfortunately, there's only a very small handful of actual good Call of Duty campaign maps. The campaign too is very short. You're looking between 5 to 7 hours. Not very long. You can obviously beat in a day. But it just didn't do much. And then when it came to the multiplayer, I used to love the multiplayer. If you currently like Call of Duty multiplayer, you can have no issues with this one. It's still the same. But as someone for like me who has taken a break and just like, oh, I'm going to try to get back into the Call of Duty multiplayer. Like I said, I've been playing a good amount of Black Ops 2. I've been enjoying that with my friends. I got into this and I was like, this is a mess. The interface is awful. everything's just exploding. The constant skins and everything that's going on just was irritating me. I was not having a good time with the multiplayer. The zombies was at least a decent change, but I prefer the round-based system of it. So this was just, once again, Warzone with just zombies. As a whole package, I'd give this a 50. Did not have a great time with it, unfortunately.
So, I mean, I still give it a game, and I don't know, maybe you've talked me out of it a little, but I am still sticking with the game, and I think maybe for me is that I went into it with such lower expectations. I was like, I'm just gonna be miserable, and I'm not even gonna want to play more than 2 matches. I'm gonna remember why I hate Call of Duty, and I'm just gonna be done with this. I still didn't play a ton of it. I'm not gonna jump back in and play hours on end of it, but at least in my current rotation of games, I don't have a lot of first person shooters that I play really at all. And it felt a little refreshing just as a first person shooter. Like I had said this earlier, and maybe my audio has gone for it, maybe Andrew's audio has gone for it, who knows? But if this wasn't called Call of Duty and you just put the controller in my hands and said, "Hey, play this first person shooter," I'd be like, this is a pretty fun shooter. I'm enjoying this. But then it comes to again, that I haven't really played a Call of Duty in 5 years, and to just walk in, I felt like old man yelling at the clouds, like, who are these people? Why are they important? I don't care. This is stupid. I hate all the skins. I've never been a big skin person to begin with, but you do you. If you want to pay the money for them, doesn't bother me. But they're just so outlandish now, and I think, and even though I actually didn't see any of them in gameplay, like those Diablo ones look super cool, but aside from Activision, what does that have to do with Call of Duty? It's nonsense to put that in a game. Even like Overwatch, it makes some sense because there's crossover, and you already have a giant gorilla that can talk is one of the characters. Like, it doesn't seem that crazy to add some of this stuff, but Call of Duty had a sense of realism that it felt stripped away from, and for that I was really annoyed about what have they done to this game. I think if I were to play more, I think, who knows, maybe my skill-based matchmaking would go up and I would have a bad time again, and I would throw it out the window. But I might consider keeping just the multiplayer on, purely probably just for a gun game. It has always been one of my favorite game modes in Call of Duty. Apex has done it. I like it in Apex. I just like that style, and it plays fun to me, so I like them, and I could see myself picking up a round or two here and there. But I think as an overall score, yeah, I would still probably think I'd have to go with like a 71.
All right. Well, that might alter my score a little bit just hearing your score, but of all three of us, Call of Duty is one of my all-time favorite series. I wouldn't say that any of them were my all-time favorite games, even though I've clearly played some of these Call of Duties. I mean, literally, I have months of gameplay on some of these games. So I have a deep connection to the series. So coming into playing Modern Warfare 3, I kind of knew what I was getting into, and yet I still found myself lost at so many points. If someone were starting fresh, so I'm going to just assume that somebody listening to this episode right now really has not gotten into Call of Duty. If you were to do it, I would recommend download the campaign, download the multiplayer. And the reason why I say those two things is because I think those will give you a taste. If you like the single player campaign, there's a possibility you could like DMZ and go ahead and download DMZ because it's got the NPCs in it, very similar. You're collecting items just like you are there. So it might open up your interest in other things. And then the multiplayer is just such a core element of Call of Duty. So if you were starting fresh today, do not download the 300 gigs it's got on there. Do not do that. Pick those two elements. You can pick and choose. Pick those two elements and start there. I think that's just a safe route to go. Me, as a veteran of the series, it's still because I had a taste of this stuff. So like, I know the skins are shocking for you guys. They're not for me. They've obviously gotten to new heights, but I saw where this thing was going years ago when I was still playing. So there was a lot of things that just weren't shocking. The drop shotting, jump shotting's been there for years. So none of that stuff was all that shocking to me. I hate that they kind of stripped back the single player, but truthfully, I never really played the single players all that much anyway. I maybe go through them once and never touch them again. So for me, as a veteran, I'm going to put it at a 73. But I'd be hard. This is obviously not my favorite Call of Duty. Not even in my top 5. Andrew's really had a good time with that sound effect.
Don't worry, it doesn't carry over to the recording.
No, it does actually.
Oh,
it does.
Oh, it does.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I actually hit it by accident.
Real professional. You did not hit it by accident. Stop acting like that was not intentional, you liar. You laughed immediately. Immediately after you did that, you laughed. And you're going to, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. Shut up.
Sorry about that.
No, you are not. Don't say sorry. You're not sorry. You waited for me to finish with your finger hovering over the button. You waited for the moment I was done. Yeah, exactly. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened.
Finger slip.
It was an accident.
Okay. Anyway, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Go to GamePassGrabBag.com. You'll find our link tree to all our things. Come join us for our live recordings. We do this every Tuesday around 8:30 EST. But if you join our Discord, I usually write up on the link host when we're going to be recording. So come join us. Or, on our Facebook, we also have the live recording going. If you have any game suggestions or want to say hi, you can email us at GamePassGrabBag@gmail.com. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952.
Aaron, you go. Well, I'll close it out.
I don't know. My name's Aaron. Thanks for having me in the episode.
You come on here a lot.
I've been on. I don't come on here a lot. I'm happy to fill in. I'm happy to fill in. And thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure, Aaron. Thank you for joining us. I've been Keith, and I don't ever really end with anything important, but I'm going to just reiterate: go to Nani's Kitchen and get some freeze-dried candy. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it every day.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Thank you again, Nani's Kitchen. All right, we love you all. We'll see you again next week.
Bye.